Usually when I start a painting, I don't really think about the color or the mood of it. I just kind of jump in just to make something. Because I'm just like, I want to make a painting. I'm going to make something. So today I'm going to paint over the same composition and make 4 different moods and feelings of it. So I start by painting in a blue sky because I want it to be more friendly. And blue can be kind of neutral. It can either make it feel warm or it can feel cold depending on the context. But I'm adding green and some yellows, which is going to make the overall painting feel warm, a little more happy, a little more upbeat. And I kind of also use shapes in here as well, like the rounded rocks and the rounded clouds, just to make it feel soft and comfortable, friendly, kind of a little dramatic, open sky, breathable. I have the light source hitting that tower right in that pile of rocks or that mountain or whatever you want to interpret it as. I'm thinking it's just a big rock, big pile of rocks. And the sun's hitting it right there. Guide your eye to the center. It's not really, it's off center a little bit too. A little mystery because it's not really sure what that structure is. All right, now moving on to the second one, which is completely different feel. And I always start with changing the shape. I don't know why I did that, but that seemed to be what I was focused on. In this one, I wanted a more sharp, dangerous, uneasy, ominous. That's a lot of words, but kind of trying to describe what I was trying to go for. I have this unstable shape where the rock's really not grounded anywhere. It's kind of broken up underneath it. And the red is definitely an uneasy color. And I find that the spiky mixed with the reds, maybe there's a little bit of orange in there, tends to give me the feeling of unstable, dangerous. It's about to get dark, so it might get even worse. And the ground's kind of uneven. I could probably push that even more. And now I'm going through and adjusting the curves briefly. That's where you can kind of adjust the saturation and the contrast. And that's about what you do with the curves. And you just kind of mess around with that. It's just a tool in Photoshop that you can use. I think it's in other programs as well. More of a photo editing tool. And here I'm going to go and do my third one, which is my favorite one, and I'm probably going to go through and finish this one. And I wanted to use different shape language. Solid, but still kind of hard edges to it. Kind of blocky, chunky. I wanted to go with the cold feeling as well, so the solid shapes really push that cold feeling. It's frozen solid, pretty much, is kind of the idea there. I put in a cloud in the background and kind of erased out a little bit of it as I went, just so I could get a base for the sky and kind of shortcut that a little bit. People to focus on the tower again. It seems to be a common theme among all of these. Like maybe it's almost like I designed the composition that way. So having a solid composition really helps sell a painting. But this is just like another extra step of selling the feeling of it, the environment, the concept, and you have the blue green kind of mostly blue, gives it a cold color temperature. Going in and adding some snow effects just to mess around with the weather as well to give you that feeling of windy, cold, snowy. And now moving on to my last one. I wasn't really sure what to do with this one, so I decided to use elements from different ones. Use my kind of a pointy, unstable shape language, but it wasn't too unstable. And go for more of a peaceful, warm color palette. Well, the sky is obviously blue, but the focus is on the orange. I wanted to go for more of a desert feel, dry, kind of hot, arid. And that was the main idea behind this, because it was different than all the other environments. Well, maybe the second one could have been like that. But I really like just messing with the different elements. You can add in rounded shapes and pointed shapes. Gotta find a good balance. Like the clouds are kind of rounded, but the focal point is on the pointed rock in the middle. And the other ones are less shaped as that one. Just so there's more emphasis on that as well. But while I finish that one and let that time lapse play, I'm going to just go over some ideas that I've talked about in this video so far about how to convey emotion and feeling in a painting. There's about 4 elements I used in here, and maybe some more that I just don't remember. But the first one is color. Color is the most important one to communicate emotions and feelings in a painting. Everybody has certain connections with colors. Stuff. Some people have a favorite color, so if you show their favorite color, they're more likely to connect with that painting. Usually there's universal kind of ideas behind certain colors and the context of it too. So using different elements together can create certain emotions. So blue can be used as like a sunny day where the sky is blue and clear, and you just know it's nice weather out. But in this context, it's stormy and snowy, which makes it feel like, oh, it's cold and it's not clear out. So I'm using blue to more of its cooler color to push that cold feeling. And then shape language as well. As I mentioned earlier, when I was going in here, I started by altering the shapes. Mostly because it's kind of hard to alter the shapes once you start rendering it all in, because once you do that, you gotta like go back, cut it out, redo a bunch of it. So you want to make sure you have your foundation there to begin with, and that's probably why I was doing that. And certain shapes can invoke different moods, like rounded things probably are more comfortable or soft or easier to sit on or lean against, but more like sharp pointy things kind of think. There's a reason that we fear sharp things, because they can impale us. So that can really push the feeling of scariness and uneasiness. And then you can have like solid objects, which you know are sturdy and are going to be kind of hard to push over. So a solid object's more like square, blocky. And now another one that really helps with mood is the lighting. It's more of a direction type tool to get you to look at things or show off certain parts of a painting or even a scene in like a movie. So for this third one, for example, most of it's diffused, but there is kind of a spotlight in the middle to kind of push the direction of where things are. And usually light tends to make things alter the color as well. So if it's like a really sunny day, it's going to make things look brighter. If it's hitting like trees or leaves, it's going to kind of make the leaves look a little more yellow. If you can alter the color, you're probably going to change the mood a little bit. Or you can get more of a backlit one, which just defines the shapes more instead of the colors. So it alters a lot of things. Lighting can be one of the more trickier tools to master, but once you figure it out, it's pretty awesome what you can do with it. And the fourth one, which I think is a really big impact on thing, is the weather. For this one example, I have it cloudy, mostly overcast, and there's kind of a blizzard going on. So it's dark, but you have the snow, and you can kind of tell it's moving like a certain direction. So you can envision or kind of think of how it would feel if the wind was blowing and the snow was hitting your face and just hitting everywhere. It would feel probably pretty cold and miserable. Remember, I did a study of another painting where there was like a storm that was moving in, and a tree was just like being pushed all the way to one side, and I could kind of almost feel like the wind was pushing on me a little bit. There you have it, the final painting. This came out looking way different than I thought it would. By allowing myself to explore multiple moods or color keys, I was able to break out of my comfort zone, and I found something that I probably wouldn't have come up with if I just jumped in and started coloring it. It probably would have looked a lot like the first painting, and that would have been okay. But I really like how this third one came out, the snowy, cold, and blue one. And till next time, Dargon out.